Hi, my name is Phil Johnston, and I'm the product manager for the BMW Group apps platform. Today I'm going to be showing you the Empower app that we've been working on for the enthusiasts out there, and we really hope you like it. So here's the demo. Starting with the icons, wonderful. It's a beautiful listing of the previous track sessions. What the Empower app actually allows you as the enthusiast to do is, using the BMW apps platform, you can record your track-based sessions at various tracks everywhere. So here we have a couple sessions that we recorded yesterday at Circuit of Americas. We have Rafael Torres and Matt Mullins from the BMW Performance and Driver Training Center. So we'll take a look at Rafael. What you see here is actually what we call the scorecard view, and this is a brief overview of how your session went. So as a driver, every time I get into my BMW apps equipped car, I plug it in via the USB cable and hit record on the iDrive system. Then after I get out of the car, after the session, pull out the iPhone, unplug it, and then I'm presented with this scorecard screen. Now, this scorecard screen allows you to share it with your friends, maybe on Facebook or Twitter, but you can also email these sessions back and forth between different users. So if I am out there with Rafael and he wants to show me the perfect lap, then he can email it to me and I can import it here. And I'll show you the comparison section in just a bit. But first, we're seeing the top speed that I made at that track, how many laps I actually completed, what my best lap was, and then what the difference in time between my previous laps. Here at Circuit of Americas, it's a bit warm today, so we're pulling from the vehicle sensors about the track temperature. And so it's not true track temperature, but it's the ambient temperature. And so we'll go ahead and click review. Now, what you see here is a satellite map that we're pulling from our vendors that is not quite up to date, but soon it will be. But what you have is a generated track where we pulled from the in-car sensors of the GPS, throttle position, braking sensors, and now I can play back my track section. I can zoom in to see we started in the pit lane, and then kind of fast forward along to a more interesting point of the track. But what you see on the bottom right corner is the steering input. Hit play, and you can play a real-time playback of your session. And so you can see he's braking hard into this turn, dropping off his speed, going through the turn at a good speed. Now, if we're interested in exactly how he approached this corner, we can inspect the data by sliding up to the inspection screen. And you can see that on the exit of that turn, he was at full throttle, going about 41 miles an hour. Now, we're not exactly sure if that's a great entry and exit speed, so what we can do is actually compare him against another of the driving instructors here at the track. So we have Matt Mullins, who's the chief instructor, and so it looks like he pulled off a bit better time. So maybe we'll go back to that turn and see how he did. So now what you see is actually two steering wheels, so you can see the input, and we'll fast forward a bit. It's great fun to watch, because what you see is actually kind of the ghost mode from your favorite driving games. And so we'll play into it. You can see who's catching up pretty quickly or late on the brakes. It looks like Matt's going through that turn a bit, oh, maybe not so quick. So now let's look at this exact point. We'll bring it up into a more detailed view, and you can see that actually maybe Matt has a lower exit speed, but in the overall, he has a higher lap speed. Now, maybe Rafael was sliding through that turn a little bit, and the rear tires were spinning. But you can see that the throttle is at 100% for both of them. But the exit speed is actually quite different. So Rafael, the lighter colored is Rafael, and Matt is the brighter colored for the speed. You can see the difference in time between the two cars at this point in time, and how far in they are. So now we can scrub through the remaining session. You can see, let's take a look at what this was. This looks like the back straight, and someone is letting off the throttle a bit early, so scrubbing off some speed. Well, it looks like Matt is actually on the throttle, full speed, going into the last turn there. So now, if we're interested in seeing what the brake situation was like, here we have, using the in-car sensors, we're measuring the brake force not the actual brake input, but the position, but the force of the brake. And you can see that Raphael is actually harder on the brake at this time, while Matt is easing into the brake. Now we can follow through. Looks like Matt's covering a lower speed, but maybe a higher exit speed going through here. This is quite a tricky turn here. I believe it's a 3 apex turn, and you have to just be very easing on the gas, not brake actually. Following through, we'll go to the final turn, the most important turn, just before the straight. Now, here we have various other sensors. So there's the RPM. We actually have the fuel mileage, or like how efficient your car is, and then we have a G-force map. Now, going into that last turn, we can see that Matt is actually pushing the car a bit harder. So he's the lighter colored. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. Other way around, it's Raphael going through, and you can get this kind of G reading and making sure that your car is on the limit at that time. And following through the straight. Now, let's see who had the higher speed at the end of the straight. So, actually, it looks like Raphael had the higher speed, but Matt won in the end because of his efficient driving around the turns before.
Right.
So yeah, that's the Empower app. This is a app for iOS. It's only available for iOS, but you can. It will be free to download, but you'll have to have the BMW apps option in your BMW car in order to make these sessions, in order to record these sessions. Okay, so the trick to turn 1 is to not brake until the car is settled after the jump, or not the jump, but when you're coming out of your seat, and so that driver is scarily amazing at that. No fear. And it's also about being smooth. So that's the connected screen. So now there's no more interaction with the device.
Oh, it comes on.
And you to Empower. And so you get two options. You can either record a session by clicking the Go button, or you can view a session listing. And this session listing is only available when you are not moving. So if we move, this button will be disabled, and you only get the record button. Let's take a look at Raphael's. So it just gives a brief overview of
Summary. Okay.
And I'll show you the record screen. So when you hit record, we don't want to be distracting the drivers while they're on the track. So you basically get confidence-inspiring information. So you know that it's recording. You don't exactly know what your times are or anything like that. And you get a distance gauge just to make sure that it's still going.
I'm Paul Dersch from the BMW Group Technology Office USA in Mountain View, California. So what we have here is the Empower iPhone app. And what it does is it records data from the automotive sensors in the car. And these are very high quality, precise sensors. We record this track data so that you can see the car on the racetrack. This is Laguna Seca. You can look at different modes here. Like here we're looking at the throttle position. So as you can see, the driver climbs up on the throttle here as he unrolls the wheel up to 100%. We've got brakes. So coming into this turn, the driver's braking very hard and getting up to 0.8 G's braking. We even have the RPM from the engine and the shift points so that you can compare the speed and the RPM. And here, for example, is a shift. You can see the RPM drop down. We go as far as to show the fuel level even. And finally the G-force. So here coming through the corkscrew on Laguna Seca, you can see what the G-force does as the driver comes through. So the big picture here is that we want to help drivers learn how to drive better and more safely. And an important part of that is this feature here where you can email your recording. So this is a standard iPhone email. You're going to email this .mpower file. And what happens then is when you're reviewing a recording, you can click on Versus. And now you can directly compare your lap with your instructor's lap or a friend who's better. So let's choose 2 different laps here. And we click on Compare. Now you can see there are 2 cars on the track, one that's ahead of the other. And when you open up the data, you can see very specifically what the drivers did differently, and so you can learn where you lost seconds and how you can improve. So the big picture here is sharing and learning from others, so you can compare your data in a way that you could never do before.